Khalil Rountree Jr., man, the Warhorse, Bangkok ready Khalil or Warhorse Khalil. We'll have to see. He's fighting Baby K, Karl Roberson. AJ, I'm actually really excited for this fight. Like, I'm really, really excited for this fight. Not because Khalil Rountree Jr. is coming off of a nasty oblique kick TKO, just destroyed a man's knee. Not only destroyed the man's knee, but it was Modestas Bukauskas is who I'm talking about. Not only did he destroy his knee, but he actually knocked him out of the UFC with that. You know what I mean? So he's fighting Karl Roberson, who has been plagued by dudes just wanting to get him to the ground and submit him, right? This is the perfect matchup, though, because you don't got to worry about that against Rountree. You got striker versus striker. You got Dutch kickboxer versus Muay Thai practitioner. The Muay Thai guy is Khalil Rountree. The Dutch kickboxer, Karl Roberson. Listen, man, both of these dudes, little rough in the UFC. 5-5 for Rountree, 4-4 for Roberson. Known primarily for his knockout prowess, man. 4 of his 5 wins have come by knockout for Khalil Rountree. But for Karl Roberson, I mean, listen, man. Like I said, tough outing, submissions, all that good stuff, man. If this fight stays on the feet, my man, I think that this is going to be very interesting because you have power versus speed and dexterity. That's really how I see this one. Khalil Rountree is more of the one and done, right? One big one. Karl Roberson is, I'm going to calf kick you in the head, throw a couple strikes up in there, mix and match, move. Speed versus power is how I see this matchup. Do you agree with me there, or do you think Khalil Rountree brings a different element to this match?
I agree with you, Derek. I agree with you. I think as much speed that Khalil Rountree has, because he does have a lot of speed, I think Karl Roberson is just a little bit faster. And I agree with you in the dexterity. Karl can hit you with some weird stuff from different angles that you're not really seeing, and he can stay mobile on the feet, where Khalil Rountree, I agree with you, has that one big pop. He might throw 2 or 3, but that's about it. That's the end of the combo. It's a 3-punch combo. I think Karl Roberson has a good chance right here, man. He's a favorite, actually. So what am I talking about? This dude has a hell of a good chance. I also think Khalil Rountree, though, stepping in kind of after the fight that he had against Modestas Bukauskas, kind of putting himself into that heel position. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, not necessarily because of his talking, but a lot of people kind of lost fans, or he lost a lot of fans in that fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, people were kind of feeling a certain way about him. I think it was a good, I mean, fair game all day long.
Meaning they didn't like the technique is what you're saying, right? Like they weren't a fan of the finish. Yeah.
Exactly. They weren't a fan of the technique. They thought it was a little dirty. Do you think he throws that technique again in this fight? Yeah. I'm with you 100%, because I think he throws it first one out the gate, just to let everybody know this is game, bro. This is what it is. And I think Karl Roberson, if he can avoid that first round and a half flurry, he's going to be looking good. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think that the long game is going to be important for Karl Roberson, who has won 3 decisions. He's never lost a decision. Listen, man, like, all of his losses have come via submission. So I think that this is finally, like, he's probably like praising the sun. Like, oh my God, thank you, Dana White. Thank you, Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, for matching me up with an actual striker. Like, finally I get a striker, because it's been Brendan Allen in his last one, Marvin Vettori, Roman Kopilov, Wellington Turman, Glover Teixeira, literally all grapplers, brother, literally across the board, all grapplers. But what's sad about it is that even though he got the win against Wellington Turman, losing against Glover Teixeira in an arm triangle, like, obviously that's the light heavyweight champion right now. Roman Kopilov, he was actually able to defeat him with the 3rd round submission, a rear naked choke, which is impressive. But to literally come out and be 4-4 in the UFC, or 4-4 in the UFC, but last 5 of all grapplers, did the UFC have a vendetta against this man? Like, I don't understand the matchmaking. Either way, that's not the point. Khalil Rountree Jr. is very up and down, and we always say he's one of the hardest fighters not only to pick their fights, but to bet on, because we don't know if it's Khalil Rountree, Bangkok ready Khalil, the one who comes out and smashes Eric Anders, the one who, you know what I mean, like I said, had that oblique kick to Modestas Bukauskas, or is it the one that fought Marcin Prachnio, who faded over 3 rounds, who really didn't bring it? The one who got smashed by Jan Kutalaba in the first round, who got smashed by Johnny Walker in the first round. I'm a big fan of Khalil Rountree. We both are. We've been praising this man for a long time. But I do think Karl Roberson, though he is a betting favorite, though he is the faster, slicker, probably more technical fighter overall, I do think that Karl Roberson has become a forgotten man because of the losses. He had a lot of steam early in his career, but now it's a little rough. So I like the minus 130 play here. The over and under is 2.5 rounds. Is someone getting knocked out early in this one, AJ, or do you see this coming to a decision? Because the last time that Rountree went to a decision was against Prachnio. The last time that Roberson went to a decision was against Wellington Turman, and that was some years ago. So what do you think?
I think if this goes to a decision, it favors Roberson a lot more, man. The gas tank is always in question for somebody with that big of muscles as Roundtree. And I think if this is going to an early finish, it's going to be more in favor of Roundtree, man. He has that explosive pop on his shots. So does Karl Roberson. Don't get me wrong. Karl can find a KO for sure. But I think it just favors more of the style of Khalil Rountree, that Bangkok ready Khalil Rountree that we see where he's throwing heat nonstop. He's going to sit there in your face, bang it out, and let you fall on the mat as you should. But if you don't get that, then you get tired, you get gassed out, and that's where it's going to really favor Roberson. And like I forget who said this first quote initially, but if you're fighting if you're fighting for a finish, you're not going to win the decision, and I think that's really what's going to happen here. If we're looking for a finish, I'm banking on Roundtree. If we're looking for a decision, I'm banking on Roberson. And this one, another coin toss for me, man. And you're right, Derek. It's just very hard to call Roundtree's fights because you never know how he's going to show up, man. He's one of those fighters that's either his night or it's not. And it's always hard to call. Karl Roberson, if he can come back, this is a nice comeback win for Roberson. If he's able to get back on track and kind of have that steam kind of pump back into his own machine, it'll be interesting. Me personally, man, I'm leaning Roundtree. I think Roundtree's going to get it done. I'm going Khalil Roundtree KO round 2, letting the leak out of the bag right now, or the pick out of the bag right now. Khalil Roundtree, if he can show up on game day, focused, ready, peaking as he should be, it's going to be a very rough fight for Karl Roberson. But that being said, Karl Roberson is very much game, and he can get things done. Like I said, another coin toss for me. What do you think, Derek?
Well, first, brother, 2.5 rounds, over and under on that one.
Oh, I'm taking the under. Early KO round 2.
Yeah, smart man. I think that Khalil Rountree, if he does get the job done, it has to be early. I think he has to get it done in the first round. I will say that I'm gonna counter you on this one. Both the fighters are 6'1", 76.5 inch reach for Rountree, 74 inch reach for Roberson. So a little reach advantage for Rountree. Both southpaws. There's one element of Karl Roberson's game that we have forgotten, though, and we have not talked about, and that is he can grapple a little bit, brother. Like, he can take the back, he can choke you out, and he's slick with it. So if he does find himself getting hurt, if he does find himself being outmatched on the feet, which I kind of doubt just because he's literally striker versus striker on here, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to say, well, Rountree, you don't grapple. Let me exploit that disadvantage against you. We'll see what happens on this one. I'm leading Karl Roberson. I think that this is a bounce back spot for him. I think Khalil Rountree needs more than the one and done, more than just one shot at a time to be successful against a high level striker like Roberson, who, if you watch him, he's just so fluid in his movements, man. Whether it's kick to the body, kick to the head, kick to the calf, mix it up with some strikes, throw some spinning techniques. I like Roberson. I like the over. I like him dragging this fight out, getting Khalil Rountree tired around rounds 2, round 3, and either getting a finish late or running it to a decision. So I'm going to rock with Karl Roberson here, the minus 130 favorite, folks. If you like that play, I would suggest it, because for Khalil Rountree, as much as I do think you have a shot at winning this one, AJ, you're just banking on it coming early, finishing early. Because it's hard to see Khalil Rountree, even though he has won 3 decisions, it's hard to see him win a decision against Karl Roberson here, even though he had a decision win against Eric Anders. So that's the pick on that one.